Looks like construction is right on track. What's up guys, Dr. Coaster here on behalf of the Georgia Coaster Connection, and welcome back to another ArieForce One Construction Update. Before we get started, I just wanted everyone to know that all photos and footage included in any of these construction updates are free to use with credit. I'd also like to thank my Georgia Coaster Connection partner Christopher as we gather this content together. I'll link his pages down below. I made my way back out to Fun Spot Atlanta on Friday, April 8th, and as usual found that RMC and Fun Spot have been hard at work on ArieForce One's construction. The last update was less than a week ago, and I somehow have more to report than I thought I would. Let's start in the storage area behind the parking lot. Like always, I started by walking back to this area that has served as the staging area for RMC as new shipments arrived to the park. There wasn't much big news last week other than supports being moved from the site, but this week, I'm happy to report that since my last in-park update, RMC has delivered a fresh batch of white supports as well as additional sections of track to be added in the near future. If you missed my last couple of updates, ArieForce One is officially topped off within the last week and a half. This is the biggest development to date on the construction process, and we've been waiting to see what the next move would be. The question shouldn't have been what move are they going to make next, but actually what moves are they going to make? Because as I soon found out, there is a lot going on. After checking out the area behind the parking lot, I noticed RMC had multiple cranes going in the park, one at the lift and one behind the arcade. So I headed to the lift first to see what was going up. When I arrived, I was thrilled to see that several RMC workers were hard at work installing the first pieces of blue track onto the lift hill. I even got to see the workers get lowered down by the crane and begin preparing to lift the next piece into place. As seen here, they're extremely close to installing the rest of the lift hill, as well as the beginnings of the first drop, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if it has already begun by the time this video is posted. From the Ferris wheel, I also noticed the Raven Truss dive has officially begun going vertical as well. Super exciting news. Lastly of note, I saw that nothing new had developed in the expanded hard hat zone. I also tried to sneak a peek over the arcade from the top of the Ferris wheel, but the ride wasn't quite tall enough to give me that shot. So I headed to the back of the park to see what the deal was with the second crane. Before I was able to make it even a quarter of the way down the midway to the back of the park, something dawned on me. As we now know, the park announced last week that the mini golf courses would need to be removed to make room for ArieForce One. So I decided to walk the layout of the middle and ending sections of the ride, where the double up and quad down would be located. While the hard hat zone was expanded recently, they still have several former foundations of old mini golf holes to remove, as well as the entrance and this mount seen here. Upon walking the rest of the layout pictured here, I noticed something had changed, but I wasn't quite sure what it was for a moment. Seen here is the site of a former mill that operated next to the entrance of the arcade. I hadn't realized that it was directly in the line of fire of the ride, so it is now gone, and it's hopefully a sign that the construction over the arcade is coming very soon. This means that the only demolition that remains is the foundations and entrance that I just previously mentioned. Once I made it to the back of the park, I was excited to see that RMC had workers behind the arcade as well, and they were fast at work. Digging has continued back here after the initial clearing about a month ago. Not only that, but they've got the first of the supports behind the arcade, and they're working on unloading them. Don't blink, this ride is going to be built before we know it. Thank you all for watching. That was the 6th of many ArieForce One construction updates to come. If you don't want to miss out on more construction updates like this, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, as many more of these will be coming out leading up to the opening of the ride. If you haven't mentioned it before, go ahead and let me know in the comments below what you're most excited for about ArieForce One, whether that be element, fanfare, or otherwise. If you haven't already, then also be sure to follow Georgia Coaster Connection over on Instagram, your home for all things ArieForce One. If you're feeling inclined, then you can follow me as well at Dr_Coaster. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.